Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. What's up, everybody? It's Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money, baby. Listen, we have all the right people on the panel today. I think this is going to be a great conversation. We have an excellent panel, and I love the fact that we have just three of us. That way we could just have an engaging conversation. So we just gonna flow with it. Listen, I don't know if you guys seen the video with Keke Palmer. She was on Club Shay Shay, and she talked about living under her means. And so it's really funny because she's a millionaire, and she doesn't blow her money on expensive things. But with the multi-million-dollar properties and lifestyle, is her idea of frugality out of touch? That's what a lot of people are saying. She might be just a bit out of touch because the shit that she was saying, it didn't really add up to what today's standards are. But I don't know if she understands what many of us face as struggles in today's economy. So we're going to talk about how we can manage our finances, because at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to: how to grow your money and not blow your money. You heard me. We want to know why celebrities like Keke have to be mindful of how they discuss money, because everybody don't have that same kind of money. But more importantly, how we can all move forward to financial independence, because that's exactly how we want to be. That's where we want to be. Regardless of how much money we make, it ain't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep at the end of the day. Is that true, ladies? Is that right?
Amen. Hallelujah.
So first, we got my girl, Venessa Go Paul. She is an entrepreneur, and she is an international travel advisor. She don't got an AA. She don't got a bachelor's. She's chick got a master's in public policy. She knows her shit, people. And then we have Miss Char Curry, aka Says What She Wants, the #1 female advocate, not for women, but for men. Ooh, I love it. Because, we be tearing men up on this podcast. So she going to come and bring it. She going to be the #1 advocate for the brothers. And I know y'all going to be happy to see more Char coming up nowadays. I know it, because they always talk about how they don't have fair representation. Anyway, ladies, did any of you guys get a chance to see her interview on Shannon Sharp, Keke's? I didn't, but
I saw bits and pieces. I saw bits and pieces.
Yeah. What do you think about Keke? Just on the onset, what do you think about her? You like her, hate her?
I love Keke. I mean, I love her grind. I mean, she's been grinding for a long time. You think she was a kid when she got up in this industry. She kicked down the door. She's been unapologetically her. And I think we've seen her grow up, and she's experienced some stuff. It's been public. And I think I like Keke. I'm not mad at really, I'm the Keke can do no wrong crew.
Okay. I love it.
And I love her spirit simply based on the fact that she's unapologetic. She just says what it is, and she does whatever she wants to do. Like, literally, she's living out her truth. So that's what I love about her. She says what she wants.
Yeah. I love that about her too. I think that it's hard to see her as an adult, because she's a keeler. She's still a keeler. No matter what, she's gonna be a keeler. And it feels like, dang, Akila got an old soul, but no, she's a grown ass woman. and she talking about grown ass woman type things, and I love that about her. She gonna get into character. She gonna read. She gonna do all the things. I love that, and she is unapologetically a Black woman. She is unapologetically a sister. Okay, so I stand corrected. It was actually on MSNBC interview, and not on Shannon Sharp. But we did see a couple of clips. Let's take a look at our first clip and let's talk about it.
Keke Palmer, the actress, has got it right. So she says she's not going to shop at Gucci. She's going to Zara. You tell somebody else who shops at Zara. My wife, Shaker. That's right. Fine as heck. Looks like a fashion plate all the time. You know, always dressed to the nines, always classy. She often dresses at shops at Zara. I know because I've gone shopping with her. Whenever we go to Paris or we go to Spain, she wants to go to Zara. You know, she understands value, and she was in the fashion business. She used to own a fashion house in New York and Los Angeles, so she understood how stuff got made and what it would cost and how much money was being wasted. That doesn't mean she doesn't like a Gucci and Prada, you know, or Louis Vuitton, but she's not spending rent money on it. And what the actress realized when she filed bankruptcy is that, you know, this is a money game, this is a business game, it's the entertainment business, it's the business of entertainment. Folks trying to separate you from your wallet on the regular. And so when she filed bankruptcy, it was a wake-up call for her. So she is frugal now. She shops at Zara. She says she has a Toyota in her driveway. She loves it. There's some nice Toyotas. Don't hate on Toyota. They go forever. Look, I like nice things. And if you see me around, you see me in a nice car, maybe. I'm driving or whatever. But if I'm in a car, I'm not worried about the payments. I'm not worried about what it costs. You know, it has to be relevant. Otherwise, I'm not doing it because that's all depreciating assets, right? And your assets cannot be on your, right? You gotta own something that appreciates some value. I just left Bishop T.D. Jakes and his Anderson Man Thinketh conference, and I said, if you make money during the day, you build wealth in your sleep, right? We need to start learning to own and not just to consume. Sometimes you get it the hard way because rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. You can't grow except through legitimate suffering. She has gone through her storm. She's on to her rainbow. She just now might actually grow some real wealth. I commend her. I commend her.
So if you don't know who John Hope Bryant is, he's a wealth advocate. He does a lot in the community. He helps teach financial literacy. And basically he was responding to her interview where she talked about, and hopefully we'll have that interview, but where she talked about, you know, the fact that she has, you know, this is what her net worth is, and this is how much that she actually spends. What do you think the idea of, do you think it's smart, you ladies, you know, would you have, like, if you had a net worth of say $7, $8, $9, $10 million, would you have a Toyota? What do you think, Char?
Absolutely. I would. And also, you know what I mean? It boils down to the fact of mindset and perspective and also personal growth, right? Because if you're growing personally and you have a certain mindset that, you know, you got to set up generational wealth for your kids, your family, and those that you care about, then you're going to operate differently when it comes to money. But people that, and let me just say this really quick, people that have never had money, that don't have any knowledge or wisdom about money, those are the ones that go out there and spend, and they be doing the fan on. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, generational wealth is health.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do you think, Venessa?
I agree. I mean, 7, 8 million. I mean, I don't, I don't have 7, 8 million, but my thing is cars. Like, I want to be in a nice car. I just like to, that's just my thing, right? But I'm also not into Gucci bags, and I'm not about to go spend thousands of dollars on shirts. And I mean, when you really start understanding like how that stuff is made, and they stick a logo on it, and then they charge you 2, 3 thousand and market to you, it's to me, it's insanity, right? With my car, I feel like I'm in my car all day, every day. I use my car daily. So it's a space where I want to be comfortable at. I live in LA. So, you know, when we get in the car, it's 30, 45 minutes. But I can understand the mindset of like, if you're not able to afford it, then there's no way. You shouldn't be thinking about, can you afford your car note every month? That means that you can't afford it, right? If you have to constantly think about something, then it's not in your budget. So I think for me, I can resonate with, I didn't file bankruptcy, but I think being younger and trying to buy things to impress people around people that don't matter. I don't even know these people. Like, why do I care why they looking at me? But it was a thing, you know. I would go spend money on Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, and first of all, that's not even my personality. I don't even really like it. But the mindset of trying to impress people who really don't matter is sort of marketed through social media, through music, through a lot of things. So as I mature, thank God, I really don't, I don't care. Like this look Tarjay right now, but I got property.
You better not be. You better not be Tarjay.
Well, old Tarjay.
Okay.
This is before
Okay.
DTI.
Okay.
Listen, I haven't shopped at Target. I've been real serious about that. But it's just the mindset, I think, of just not really caring what people think about you and just maturing enough to understand that every corner, he said something in that video, which I love. Every corner, people are trying to separate you from your wallet. And I like that idea, because it is in America. That's literally every day someone is trying to separate you from your wallet. So I mean, I just think you have to grow and mature. Sometimes you got to go through something to make it click.
Yeah, I agree. You got to go through something, and I can say this because there were so many gems that he dropped in that. I filed bankruptcy, right? I had a 379 credit score, so I understand what he was saying about. Listen, it was a business decision. Like in my book, The Secret to Breaking the Bro Code, I talk about it. I was like, I filed bankruptcy and it was the worst experience. Y'all, that was the best day of my life.
I know.
I walked into the bankruptcy court. I was scared as shit, but I walked out. I was floating because the creditors stopped calling me. My phone stopped ringing. The stuff stopped coming in the mail, and I was able to start over. But here's the thing, because she said that she filed bankruptcy when she was 18 years old. And that was based upon, a lot of mismanagement of her money. But the mismanagement wasn't really, she didn't mind because they took care of her. So she wasn't mad at it. I mean, if you file bankruptcy young enough, it's not a bad thing. But once you have to go through that, if you don't learn your lesson at that point, then the problem then lies with you, and you are due to repeat yourself. Most people, just like Char said, most people who never had anything, they're the ones that are flexing, but they're the ones that are going to end up broke in a few years. 85% of NFL players end up being broke within 5 years of retirement. A person who wins the lotto, their likelihood of being broke is quicker than somebody who built their wealth from the ground up. So you got to, y'all both said it's the mindset, and people are trying to separate you from your money, and people are trying to impress people that don't even matter. I don't even know about them.
There you go.
War.
Oh, you don't live in my household? Oh, okay. Your opinion doesn't matter. Okay, never mind. Have a good day.
You said what? Wait, you said what?
I said, oh, you don't live in my household? Oh, okay. Your opinion doesn't matter. Have a good day.
That part.
Basically.
Because who's in your bills? Who helping you contribute to your bills? Yeah. Who's shit? I wish I would be concerned. People always
have an opinion, though.
They do, and let them think you broke. See, my thing is, I'm not trying to deprive myself. I'm not saying anybody should deprive yourself. If you want something nice, absolutely, you work hard for it. Have something nice, but don't let that be the thing that consumes you. That puts you in a position to where you're living from check to check, to where you're broke, because you want to get to a place where you're investing and you're not spending. And that's the whole point around that, And
can I just say this really quick? A lot of people that listen to certain music or that watch certain things on TV or that are around certain people, what happens is their mindset it ends up being molded into something that it shouldn't be, because they think that they're supposed to have the certain lifestyle of the celebrities, of people that they see on these reality TVs. And it's like, that's entertainment, sweetheart. That's entertainment. But a lot of people can't separate their real lives from the entertainment. So they be out trying to, just like the lady we covered a couple weeks ago that was falling out the chair because she got approved for the bag. So if you're living outside of your means, then you're really not living in your true self.
That's that 30 seconds of social media clip. Are they not dangerous? Because they have you thinking the motherfucker get paid, and you like, have you want to punch in the air after you get off social media because you thinking like they living this life, and they're really not. I was in St. Martin a few years ago. I just went by myself. It was my first trip by myself. I had I had all the things. I had a driver and I had a chef and I had all the things, right? The driver told me just a couple of weeks before I got there was this crew from Atlanta that came, right? And they had the chef at the house. They was taking pictures, social media, pop. They were doing all this stuff, spending all this money. And then when they got ready to leave, they canceled all the debit cards. So nobody got paid, right? So the chef that they had, the Airbnb, like they canceled all of it. And they stopped them they was trying to get away. They was in the car. They got out the car. They was running through the airport. But it's a small airport in St. Martin. They were like, we know all the airport workers. They stopped their ass and they said, you are not getting on this plane until you pay them. And they were
unlock them cards immediately.
Right. And I mean, it's that lifestyle and so they flexed it on social media. They was doing all the things, and soon as but they didn't do it when they got home. They tried to do it. They tried to, what do you call that when you cancel the transaction?
Before the charge go through, it was still pending. They tried
yeah.
But that's what people will do. That's what people will do. They will have you thinking that they're living this glamorous lifestyle, and they're really not. They really faking it. And it was he said it was about 5 people. It's them ones that you think. But we're gonna talk more about it when we come back from the commercial.
That's that comparison.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow.
So listen, if you want to grow your money, not blow your money, make sure that you tune into the Fly Nubian Money. You join the Fly Nubian Money Club. And for those of you who just tuned in, we are talking about Keke Palmer, talking about how she lives under her means. And so the question really is this really relatable for the average person? Because one of the things that she was saying, and I don't know if we have the video, but one of the things she was saying was like, if I only had $1 million in the bank, first of all, most people don't have $1 million in the bank. Only 6% of African Americans make $100,000. So most of us the people she was talking to don't have $1 million. But she was like, my rent would be, $1,500. My car payment will be $300 or $400. And is that really relatable? I mean, Venessa, is that really doable for most people? Because I don't know, like where I live.
No, I mean, I don't know where you could. I mean, girl, I'm in LA, so let me tell you, you gonna be in a shoebox for $1,500, and that's if you could find a shoebox. But I think $1,500 is it's not even across the board. It's really not. And maybe a studio somewhere in the middle of Nebraska. I don't know, but I think,
or Montana or Wyoming.
Yeah, or Wyoming. I think you could do that. But even where I'm originally from, Minneapolis, like I was talking to my cousin, and she was saying that the rent for like a 2-bedroom has gone up to like $1,800, $2,000. So I feel like, and that's in a decent, not even it's a decent neighborhood. But I think that she was just trying to, throw out a number just to give people an idea, right? I don't think that she's actually saying 1,500, because we all know Keke is not staying anywhere that's costing her 1,500. I'm sure her rent or her mortgage is more, at least $7,000 to $10,000, or maybe $5,000 to $7,000. I don't know. But if she's in California, that's somewhere where she's looking at. And that's probably for like, 2,000 square foot home. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like she was just making the point of you should be living below your means. Like just because you have it doesn't mean that you should spend it. Some of the most successful people and richest people that I've met actually, I mean, they be in like non-name brand. You can't even tell. Like if I was to judge them based on this idea of like what rich is in social media and music culture, they would be poor. But in actuality, they are extremely wealthy. They own properties, commercial buildings. But just looking at them, you would never, be able to tell with that mindset if you're looking at what wealth is. So I think changing the mindset of like Gucci represents wealth, or having this Louis bag, I think is the biggest thing for our culture that we need to do in teaching our children. That's really, I feel like when you're flashy, it you're poor, right? Wealth is not loud. Yeah, it's quiet. So I think that's what she was just saying. I think people they just get upset over anything. She's just trying to make a point.
Why do you think Black people are so caught up with materialism, Char? Like, why is that a thing? Why do we wear our wealth in that way?
I feel
I'm not
like
saying
this
all
is
Black.
I feel like this is something that was taught. I feel like society and just like Tupac said, they made us love their wealth, but you know what I mean? So I can't remember the rest of it, but it's like society puts certain things out there, right? They put the flashy things, there's certain commercials and advertisements that come towards us as people, which psychologically and subconsciously gets in here, right? And so we want these things. We want the bag, we want the car, we want the bling, and all of a sudden you don't understand and realize that your spirit is depleted. So I feel
Ooh, you better tell it.
when you're spiritually grounded and you're spiritually filled up, then all these things won't affect you. But what happens is a lot of people don't know who they are themselves, and a lot of people don't know where they come from. So therefore, they follow along with the ways of society until they figure it out. And some may never figure it out. But it's a lot to do with programming. It's part of the agenda. So those of us that have learned how to think for ourselves and do better, there you go.
I agree. It is definitely part of the agenda. And just like you said, Venessa, and just like John Hope Bryan said, what you say, around the corner, everybody trying to get, what was the saying that he said?
Separate you from your wallet.
They're trying to separate you from your wallet. And I also think too, in addition to what you're saying, is that we've been deprived for so long, Black folks, that as soon as we get a little bit, we want to show it. We want to show that we're no longer living in poverty. We want to show that we've gotten a little bit of success. Because if you look at historically in this country, every time we've gotten a little bit of success, it's always been taken or stolen, or something's happened. After Reconstruction, after the Civil War, after slavery, Black people own 19 million acres of land. Now we own less than 1% of land in this country. And it wasn't because we lost it. It was because they had fake foreclosures. You had white people that were taking it by force. You have eminent domain. You have urban renewal. You have lakes that were put over our cities. That was by design. Then after that, when Black folks was trying to get houses, then they wouldn't let them because we had predatory lending and redlining and all those things. So every time we've tried to get some kind of advancement, we've been pushed back. And so I know it's definitely programming, because we have tried, we got to work hecka hard, twice as hard, do all these things just to not even have equity, to be at before we ain't at the starting line, right? We have to do all these things because we're so far behind, not by our own fault. But then when we do get it, it's like, we got to show it.
Yeah.
We got to show it. And it's unfortunate, but it's also not our fault. But I think people are starting to wake up because they're watching programs like this. I think we're becoming more financially literate. I think people are starting to understand the value of assets rather than liabilities nowadays, because there's a lot of more information out there. So the tide is turning. The conversations are changing. We just have to shift on a grander scale. Like,
can I say this really quick too, Constance and Venessa? I feel like the ones that have elevated and figured it out, I feel like a lot of times they have elevated and figured it out, and they end up being gatekeepers. They don't want to pass the knowledge and the wisdom on to nobody else. They want to sit up there and figure everything out, and then put themselves on this high horse that can't nobody bring them down from. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you've learned it, right? So why not teach a class? Why not? And nobody's asking you to empty your wallets for nobody, right? But you've already come to a certain point and you figured it out. So why not share that wisdom and that knowledge? And so what they do is they go and, do what they need to do for themselves and their families. Sometimes they don't even do it for their families, honestly. Yeah. A lot of people that have already made it out, shall we say, they are selfish against their families have given them the wisdom and the knowledge. Nobody's even asking for a handout, but can you teach a course? Can you teach a class on how to do it, instead of thinking that you're so much better than the next man because you're no longer living on the West Side or off of Martin Luther King Boulevard? You understand what I'm saying?
That's why programs like this is so important. That's why we do this.
Okay.
Yeah. Because gatekeeping, I think that's the secret sauce of us, is that we don't gatekeep. What was you gonna say, Venessa?
I was going to say, in addition to that, I feel like now, from my perspective, like, we live in an era, like, we can go on Chat GPT and say, hey, I need you to create a savings plan for me. I have $20,000 that I'm going to make in the next 2 years. I want to invest $10,000 and I want it to maximize you know, to this, the highest it can go. What do you suggest? And it will literally kick out suggestions. Now, you still want to go research and make sure those are the right suggestions. But I also feel like we have to enable, especially these youth, to understand that they don't really need anybody to reach back. They have the information. We are at a level of information that we've never been at. So it's like, I think some of it is psychologically unwinding the mindset
There you
of
go.
what wealth is, right? What wealth looks like. Wealth looks like information. It looks like investments. It looks like being able to buy a home. It looks like being able to jump on a plane and not check your bank account. Like, that's what wealth is. It's not this ideology of what they're putting in rap music or, you know, bling bling. I mean, that's just so low, like a low point. And it's interesting because I was listening to I don't remember an interview, but it was talking about like the evolution of like even like a person like Jay-Z, right? You see Jay now, when he was poor, he was in chains and gold and, you know, trying to floss, and now he don't even wear none of that.
None
Like,
of it.
so I think, yeah, so I just think it's this idea of that's how you show up when you're wealthy, because
Yeah.
you're not trying to psychologically impress anyone. So it's a mindset of, I think, teaching our children that like you don't have to show up to impress people, and the information is here. So
Yeah.
while, you know, your rich uncle or auntie or cousins or friend might be trying to flex on you, if somebody can unwind this and you can get on the internet, you can make some waves. Because I mean,
That's it.
I'm the internet. Let me tell you, ChatGPT has helped me do a lot of things.
It'll
So
change your life. We'll talk more about it
yes,
when we come back from the break. We're gonna get in trouble.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you, we are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Fly Nubian Money. Listen, you know, to add that's, you know, we have such rich conversations. It's hard. But no, to your point, there is a lot of information out there. Sunday I got in the Uber because my car's in the damn shop. So I got in the Uber to go give me a massage because I needed one because I've been laying my floor. But the guy was at first he pulls up to my house and his car is kind of like busted. And I was like, oh Lord, I'm in one of these little busted cars, you know, had did on the side and all that. But the brother, when I came in there, he was listening to EYL. And I said, oh, that's dope. That's what's up. You listening to Earn Your Leisure? Because I don't normally talk to the Ubers. I'd be minding my business. But I was like, that's dope. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to be the first in my family. And, you know, he's like, my family really turned on me because I'm thinking different. You know, I'm trying to do something different and I'm trying to invest my money and they think I'm stupid. And I was caught up in that game for so long. And so now I just want to, you know, make my, you know, do something, do more. He was like, I work, you know, 15, 16 hours a day. And I just want to be the first person in my family that does something different. So to your point, Venessa, there is information out there. Like we can have access, even if there's nobody around us that has that mentality. It just takes one thing, you know, you to see one thing. You could be scrolling on Instagram and there'd be one thing that catch your eye and that could change. And that's the reason why these conversations are so important, because there could be one thing that somebody here says that's going to grab somebody's attention that changes their life. And so we got to continue to have these conversations, but Google is your best friend. Google that shit, ChatGPT. They done fucked around and gave us internet. Like
YouTube.
The world is yours. YouTube University, the world is yours. The information is yours. But don't just be hearers of the word. You got to be doers of the word.
Come on.
I want to look at Kiki's her slide about her net worth.
Asking celebs their net worth, part 12.
Kiki, you've been getting money for a long time.
Come on, get money. I love how this started out. Yeah.
A quick Google search shows that your net worth is $7.5 million.
Because first of all, they said my net worth was $75.5 million when I only had $100,000 to bank. That lies. Do not look at those. Okay, do not look at that. Okay.
So it's inaccurate.
It's inaccurate.
Is it more, less?
There's been times where it was less. Now it's more. But there was times where it was less than that. That's why I'm like, don't believe that. Because some people, it's not even what it says. It's less than that.
The cup runneth over?
The cup runneth. God is good.
All the time?
God is good, but I got to be careful. I don't want any more tax hurts.
Mm.
So actually it's under.
Listen,
I feel her.
you don't be letting everybody know. It's funny because like inside Net 7 Collector, there's one lady. She was on the lam. She hijacked a plane, and she was on the lam for 7 years. Ended up getting 20 years in prison. No, she's on the lam in Cuba for 7 years. She got convicted for 20 years. She did 10 years in prison, right? So when we're in Net 7 is a coaching where I coach Black women. She always talking about, y'all be doing all this talking. FBI could be listening. I ain't mad. Kiki, listen, you don't want that anything.
That's
Right.
right.
Back on you now. You said in this clip
Yeah,
right
exactly. It happened to me in court. When I was going through my divorce, they were like, there's something right here on the internet about you and I was like, yeah, that's not true. And they're like, yeah, well, it says it on the internet. If it's on the internet, it must be true. Yeah, no, it's not. But you just, you never know. But what do you think about the whole idea of her talking about her net worth and it not being what people think it is?
I mean, I feel like that's a valid statement, right? I think that when she was saying it was 7.5 and she only had $100,000, I mean, that's a drastic difference, right? Mm-hmm. So if someone is looking at you like you got millions and you got $100,000, but then on top of it, that $100,000 is supporting your entire family, then that means you really had $20,000 because
Right.
$100,000 if you with a single family. You could run through that in a year with
Quick.
your bills, mortgages, food, whatever. If you get, so if you supporting multiple families and all the family members, that's not a lot of money. So, I mean, I think that sometimes when we're Googling these net worths, we just have to understand that they're not, accurate.
Yeah.
But I think, in her defense, I just feel like I'm happy that like she said, the cup runneth over. We know Kiki's
That's a
been
blessing,
working,
Lord.
right?
Let the cup
Runneth over. Let the cup runneth over for all of us.
That's the prayer.
Yes.
Right.
Everybody on this chat, let the cup runneth over, right?
Amen. I receive it. I receive it.
Yes. Come on, let it run.
Let it run
over. I don't know. I like her honesty. I like her honesty, and I think that
I think that's
she's
dope
just
too.
Every time I see her in an interview, she seems very down to earth, and I think she's just saying like, you can't believe everything you read.
You can't.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was you gonna say, Char?
I was gonna say the same thing. You can't believe everything you read. Alizé and weed. Ain't that what pot sounds? I'm just saying. But honestly, this has always been my thing, right? Because at the end of the day, why is it any of our business how much money this lady made?
Man, listen.
I'm just saying that's none of our business. I don't even know who put that out there, why it was supposed to be that they have to put out there like how much they're worth. I think it's ridiculous, really, because I mean, when I get that 10, 15 million, I'm not gonna tell nobody how much I'm worth.
Right. I know that's right. You know what's funny is
I got two.
You said what?
I got 2 million. It's 20 million over. That's 2 million. 2 million.
Yeah. That's like me. I remember my cousin used to call me like, hey, how's business? I'd be like, it's good. I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing, and they'd be like, now that I got that out the way, can I borrow? So now when they call me, they be like, how's business? I'd be like, girl, your girl's struggling. It's hard out here. It's hard. They still be like, well, can you help me pay my mortgage?
It's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah, it's hard out here for a pimp. And you know what's funny is I ain't nobody, but if I go in my analytics in my website, people will Google my net worth.
Really?
Yes, people
It tells you that they Googled your net
it tells
worth?
you what the search terms are. And a good majority of the people who come on my thing, they Google my net worth. And I think I Googled it one time, and I just tried to Google it right now. It doesn't say anything, but I Googled it one time and it says something, but it wasn't on. But to your point too, like when I was going through court and I was going, get a divorce, they definitely used the information on the internet, and they treated me like I was Dr. Dre. They thought I was high millions, and they treated me as such. They treated me as such. It was
I need
hard.
mine to say negative 30,000.
Listen, I got 32 cents in the bank. What are we talking about here? Like, what? That's just the internet.
I'm over here trying.
I was
trying to write off
about
everything
except for how much you make and how much you work. What is going on here?
It's hard. But I mean, when as we progress as Black people, it's very important that number one, we can't write off everything, Venessa, because you got to be able to own some things. Now, listen, let me tell you this:
if you're getting ready to buy something, but if you already bought something, listen.
Yes, you're right about that. That's how you be strategic. No, that's how you be strategic. I remember, I'm gonna tell y'all this. My CPA, I was like paying myself like 20,000, like poverty level, right? And she was like, Constance, your business is worth millions. You about to get audited. Like, if you got to claim some income. And so I did. But that year that I did claim the income, I had to pay a little bit more in taxes. I was able to buy some real estate, some commercial building. So, they're like, either you're going to pay it on the front end or on the back end. Like, you got to figure it out as self-employed people, but you guys will get to that, once you become self-employed. And I encourage everyone to get to a place where they have another revenue stream where you're getting, you're building your wealth. You don't want to just be a W-2, because I just was talking today on my podcast about how the top 10 billionaires got over $36 billion in tax cuts or something like that. It was crazy. And their tax cuts are growing while they're cutting programs for the middle class, while we're paying, W-2 employees are paying more percentage in taxes than your billionaires and than your self-employed people. So if you're self-employed, you have a corporation or an LLC, a W-2 person is paying more in taxes than a business owner. And so we got to shift our thinking so that we are actually the employer and not the employee. Black people, what y'all say?
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I agree. I think like for my corporation right now, I'm trying to figure out if anybody and we here to learn. So I W-2 myself, and then but I give myself a little bit, and then I try to give a bulk of distribution. I'm trying to figure out, because there's a way that distribution could not be taxed.
Yes, that's a new thing. That's a new thing.
Yeah. So,
yes.
So
you give yourself a livable wage, and then you take the rest in distribution, and that's not taxed. That's a wealth trick, but that's for people who have corporations.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what that, what the dynamics is working with my, trying to work with it. So it's all tricks, learning all the tricks, because it's a bunch of them.
But people who are W-2 who don't have other businesses, they don't know about those tricks because, this is, they don't need them. But y'all,
a lot of people don't know what a 1099 is.
Yeah.
A lot of us.
Get in the game. This is why we exist, because they are advancing this wealth between middle class is shrinking. Like, it's just, they're taking away all these social programs. They've cut in Medicaid, Social Security may be going away, but they're giving more tax cuts to the wealthy. That is a problem. So either you have to get wealthy or get left behind. The choice is yours. That's what we need
tax
to do.
Cuts. Yeah, get some tax cuts. I've been trying to really encourage my family members too, because some of them are just W-2 employees, and they don't make a lot of money, and they end up to what you guys are saying is they end up paying a ton in taxes. And I'm like, damn, you already don't make that much money.
Right.
How do you owe taxes?
Right.
And so I've been really trying to encourage them to get some 1099 income. You could braid hair, right? You could have a braiding hair company. You could write off a percentage of your rent as an office. You could write off all your hair supplies. You could write off marketing stuff. I mean, you could even write off a portion of like going out to eat, because you're talking about getting more clients or trying to prospectively. So it's just a mindset.
You say business.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, everything's a business meeting.
Everything's McDonald's.
Business. Yeah, I was there trying to get some customers. Listen. So, and that's another thing too, even with travel, like I became a travel advisor for the specific tax write-off, because it's the one thing that I really love to do. Like, it's like, oh, I love to travel. All my money don't go to Gucci and Prada, but it definitely goes to traveling, because I just love, that's my thing. And so I had to figure out a way in a business to make it work for me so that I could maximize some of those write-offs too. So if anybody loves
Smart.
to travel and you want to figure out how to have some tax write-off, hit
Put
me up.
your link in there
Hit
for
me
real,
up.
because that's one of the things that I encourage people to do, right? So everybody's not going to be a business owner. You may be a W-2 employee, but you can get into a business like that, say a multi-level marketing business, where now
Yep.
you're a business owner and now you have this write-off. Now you have a whole write-off, and I don't even like multi-level marketing for me, but obviously, it's a $1 billion, $1 trillion industry. So obviously it's doing well for a lot of people. A lot of people are making a lot of money. But even if you're a W-2 and you don't know what business to start, perhaps you get into something like that. There you have the write-offs.
Yep.
Warren Buffett makes $24 billion a year. His assistant makes $200,000 and she pays more than him in taxes.
Now that's the game.
Can I just say this really quick too? A lot of people don't understand that with a business or a 1099 LLC, a lot of people they think it's going to make them have to pay more, but in reality, a lot of times they can write off stuff. So a lot of people don't understand that they don't report that extra income or have the LLC or report the LLC because they think that it's going to take away from what they're getting back or what they have to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, ownership is important.
Yeah. And my thing is just what I like from my tax professional, they just told me, just keep clean books. And
That's
honestly, like a QuickBooks or something, a little $30 a month, like for both my travel business and my construction business, I just have 2 separate books and they're clean. So I don't, out at me, I don't care. I got clean books. They're clean.
Yeah.
So I just feel like once you start getting into the mindset of like getting out of this, I'm scared
Right.
of everything. This is tax law. So pretty much everything that falls into tax law, I'm writing off 25% of my meals. I'm writing off the square footage of the office. I'm writing off all these QuickBooks
Equipment.
software, learning, conferences. I mean, you could just go on and on and on. As long as you keep clean books, it really don't matter.
Vanessa, scared
Do
money
your research.
don't make money. Scared money, what? Don't make money. I'm gonna tell you one more time. Scared money don't make money. So y'all over here scared because I don't want to do a LLC. Some of you don't know what type of business to do. Again, like Vanessa said, like she does her travel. That's something that you could do. Now you have these write-offs. Now you can go to McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's and you can write off your meal and be a W-2 employee at the same time. Now you can write off your office. Now you can write off like your gas and your mileage. Now those are things that are putting you in a certain tax bracket or to give you tax exemptions that you would not normally have. So there's no reason why you are a W-2 employee and you're paying taxes and now you owe. And then for those of you who get a tax refund, you be like, yes, it's my bonus. No, that's money that you've overpaid to the government. So there's no reason why you should be having to pay any taxes. Most millionaires and billionaires pay nothing in taxes. They pay nothing. You know who has the brunt of the taxes? You.
Middle class and lower class.
Yeah. W-2 employees pay 25% taxes and billionaires pay 8%. And S Corp or corporation owners pay 15% taxes. So even though S Corp pay more than your billionaires, W-2 still pays more than everybody. You do.
Even with the S Corp, which is how mine, you have pass through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So mine is like, okay, I do my S Corp taxes. I would have owed, I don't know, say $5,000, right? But then here comes my travel business and my clean books because I get passed through. And then that wipes out that. You get what I'm saying? So I have $15,000 in write-offs. It's gone. I got a refund. Just clean books, just super clean books. So it's just like you can have multiple businesses, just keep clean books.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they have to have the actual receipt when in reality, most of us are paying digitally now. So you guys can look that up. Listen, you search in your bank app and listen, you bring up all your statements that you need.
Yeah. Good conversation. I love this. This is, I mean, part of the conversation that we need to be having as Black people always is how do we get in better position? Because yes, we're talking about Keke Palmer, but we're also talking about us.
Yes.
We got to stop being the beggars. We got to start being the buyers. We got to stop being the debtors. We got to start being the investors. We got to start being the ones who are the lenders and not the like. We got to be in that position. Yeah. We do. We got another video I want to show. It's in response to Keke's what she said about her net worth.
This is Keke Palmer. We all know and love her from Akilah and the Bee to I don't know this man to now having timelines and headlines tussle around this quote from CNBC. She did an interview and she said, and I quote with a paraphrasing, you know how I do, that if I had $1 million in my pocket, my rent is going to be $1,500. That's how I live, not below, but underneath my means. My car note is going to be $340. I don't need a Bentley. I don't ride in no Lexus. And people are feeling that Miss Palmer, honey, is out of touch with the economy, the cost of living, and things like that. I always find it intriguing how celebrities give their take on things. We have with Cardi, we have with Keke Palmer. I talked about Cardi in the past, but due to the fact that she's not stating stats like I would, the context around knowing and living beneath your means is something that a lot of people need to pay attention to versus the lyricism of it all. So what's your take from Ms. Palmer? While I love the context she's giving, the literalness is what's throwing off the room. Financial literacy is not necessarily financial literacy, education, same thing. But anyway, oftentimes misses people due to the fact that the math does not math towards where they're at. While that $1,500 in rent might not be in your market, or that $340 on the lease, or the finance of a Lexus might not be in yours, it is showing that you need to know what's coming in. You need to know how much your life costs and then aligning to it. While I get that some people means does not match their paycheck and people need more money to manage, the context in which Ms. Palmer was talking about is that knowing your means, figuring out the alternatives of can you live with that money or do you might need to go a little bit beneath it to create cash flow because we don't know how this economy is going to go. So let me know. Stay funded. That's it. Y'all are.
What do y'all think?
I think the context is, we're focusing on the literal thing of like $1,500, the amount, or $340 for the car is sort of irrelevant. The overall context of it is just saying that you should live below your means.
Most people aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get I think we have some slides of the feedback of what people were saying about what she said, because you're right, people are being more literal about what she's saying, but I think she's saying, listen, it's just about living below your means. Let's look at them. Somebody said, bruh, the $100,000 in the bank took me out because I need to have that in my bank account. When I only had $100,000, girl, I wish. If I'm working since I've been a child, 100K is horrible. Also, regular people with regular bills making 100K, that's nothing but six figures. I could imagine having celebrity expenses with only that in the bank. Yes, that part. A net worth is not necessarily what's in your bank account, but properties and everything you own. Yes, that's what your net worth is. It's your assets minus your liabilities. What say you, Char?
You know what? I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, it's like a lot of people will look at the net worth, right? But in reality, like you said, it's assets and what you do have, right? It's not just what's in the bank. It's not just that. And so I feel like a lot of people misconstrue that. And so at the end of the day, it's like I could have $10 in the bank, right? But if I have 4, 5, 6, 7 different properties, they're going to add that into it. So it's a little murky sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It is really tough because think about this: most households, and this is a 2-parent household, they make about $77,000 per year, and only 6% of African Americans actually make 6 figures. So think about that, right? They spend 25% on their housing expenses, 13% on transportation, your car. So if your car is $1,200, $1,500, and you only making $77,000 a year, that's a lot. They spend 10% on their food. So they basically spend about 76% of their income just to live.
Wow.
Most Americans spend 76% of their income just to live. So they don't even have $400 for an emergency. We're supposed to ideally have six months saved for an emergency. And we don't even have $400 if we had a $400 emergency, most of us. So what do you do? Wow. So you got to break it down. There's a thing called the 50-30-20 rule, right? So if you make $77,000 annually, you spend about $2,100 on your mortgage. Okay. On your housing expenses, not just your mortgage, but your housing expenses. You spend, say $1,000, that's 30% on your transportation, and you spend 20 on everything else. And that's how you should set it up to where you have a little bit of a savings. But most people are literally check, to check to check.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because right now we're headed to a recession. And you know what a recession is, if the GDP doesn't grow within 2 consecutive quarters, the next quarter is going to be recession.
Right.
Well, we know last quarter, GDP was down. Interest rates are high. Housing costs are high. Rent has never gone down in the history
Lord
of
have mercy, help us all.
Never. It's going up. Wealthy people, billionaires are getting tax breaks. What does that mean for us? So what she was saying is living beneath your means is critical to your survival.
Yeah. Right now is, even with having a business right now, it's just, everything is expensive. Like the cost of the cost of everything has went up, and then people are also scared to spend money. So if you have a business, so you see a lot of people really falling back and holding onto their money because they're scared. So for sure in a recession, I don't even want to think about that. Lord Jesus, but get this man
Lord,
up out of office. Jesus.
We just living on prayers and wings right now. We living on prayer and wings right now.
On a prayer.
We
and then and also due to the fact that we were having things happen in the economy back to back, right? So we had COVID, right? So then we depleted our savings then, right? So then a couple years later, here we have this and everything is inflated. So our savings is going, listen, if you're not in a certain bracket, or you're not smart with our savings are going down, down, down. Listen, we need some help.
And y'all, I don't know if you guys seen the news. 106,000 Black women lost their jobs last month. 106,000 Black women. And I live in the DMV. A lot of it was concentrated in the DMV due to DEI, but also federal workers losing their jobs. The first place that Trump went is they cut those federal programs. 86% of Black people, specifically Black women out here, are working for the federal government. So who you think got hit?
And we're going to commercial on that note, ain't we?
You said what?
I said we're going to commercial on that note, ain't we?
And we're going to commercial. And commercial. And commercial, Tiara. Are you
a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
So y'all, if you guys watch us, Tiara, Miss Black Hollywood, she's our producer. She's behind the scenes because the person who does it a lot better, which is Gwen, is not here. And so she's doing it. And so she was late. And then she had a nerve to be behind the scenes, talk about my finger was on the trigger the whole time. I'm over y'all. I'm putting you on Front Street. Tiara, your finger was on the trigger because we was late on commercial. Then it takes you 10 minutes to do the damn commercial.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm going to get in trouble. I don't care because I'm grown. Now.
I got a request because somebody in the chat, I think it was Keisha, she said when we were talking about S-Corps and write-offs and can there be a class on this? So I think that would be great to do. Tiara, producer, please. I think we should do another talk about this, but then maybe also teach a class. There's a lot of things that that I'm doing right now, but a lot of things that I'm still learning. And I'm, like I said, information is just, it's a lot to take in, but just in a little bit that I've learned and implemented, I'm saving some money.
Yeah. And that would definitely require CPA. Now, inside my Grow Your Money Club, I have training like that, but it's not any tax write-off stuff. I'm not a CPA. I don't have no CPA type stuff, but we definitely, Tiara, need to bring in maybe a CPA to talk about all of these loopholes. Because and if you guys go back to on this network, I talked earlier today about a lot of things that we can do as business owners, some of the write-offs that we could have. for this very thing. So it'll further the conversation, but it won't necessarily resolve those things because I am not a CPA, but just talking about different things that we can do as business owners, as first of all, as employees, to get to a place where not only we business owners, but we're investors and our money is working for us, because that's what we want to do. We got to get to that place. We got to get to that point. Lord have mercy. My thing's about to die. But so y'all, we got some more stats. Where's the stats at? 2021 survey by the National Endowment for Education, Finance Education, revealed that 52% of Black Americans report feeling financially unprepared. Is that you? How many people in the chat feel financially unprepared? And if it's you, that's okay, because we got an answer to the problem. All right. With lack of financial education, go back to that last slide, being a key barrier to wealth building. But that's why we're here, yo. That is why we're here, and that's why y'all listening. All right, go to the next one. According to the Federal Reserve Bank, Reserve, Black Americans are twice as likely to live paycheck to paycheck compared to white Americans, with 40% of Black families facing financial insecurity. Most Americans don't even have $400. A 2119 report by CNBC showed that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, with Black Americans being disproportionately affected due to systemic barriers to wealth building. That is true. And according to the 2020 study by the American Psychological Association, 50% of people report feeling financial pressure from media portrayals of wealthy lifestyles, leading to stress and poor financial decisions. Yeah. You know, what your finances affect every aspect of your life, because wealth is not just about the money. It's, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually. And if you don't got no money, it hurts you you get sick, you get stressed.
Depressed, anxiety, insomnia.
Girl, listen. I remember
mental wellness goes kaput.
Yeah. Right. Some people talk about, I don't think I was meant to have money. I'm meant to be poor. Well, who can you help being poor?
Honey, I could tell you right now from going through some things that I am not meant to be poor. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to feel like that.
Don't nobody. Yeah. So if you do, I don't know why you would have that defeated attitude, but you deserve greatness and you deserve abundance. But Miss Char, let's do your final thoughts, lady.
You know what? I appreciate all the wisdom shared today, ladies. At the end of the day, I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't understand that they need to move in silence. When it comes to your finances, when it comes to your wealth, move in silence. And I'm telling you, focus on the task at hand. Whatever your goals are, go after that, but move in silence. I promise you, spiritually, the things will elevate to a whole different level. And I am Char Curry, aka Says What She Wants, the #1 female advocate for men. You can find me on all social media platforms at Says What She Wants. I appreciate y'all. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes. And guess what? She says what she wants.
I do.
You heard me. I love it. Welcome. I love you being on the show. So I look forward to having many, many more. I know you guys, if you guys watch all the time, you've seen her. This is her second time. This is her first time with me, but love your energy, sis. So welcome. Miss Venessa.
I second that. I love your energy too. And this was a great show, ladies. Like, I always love when I learn something from the show too. So my advice is just leaving here is that we take something and we're inspired by it and we actually put it into play. So if you are, you know, working a W-2 situation right now and you want to figure out how you can have some write-offs, how to start a business, and you don't have a large overhead, you want to get started, you can get a 1099 business doing anything, braiding hair. I do travel. If anybody is interested in becoming an agent for the sole purpose of writing off, getting some write-offs and 1099s, please hit me up at VegalPaul. That is where I'm at. Once again, that's at VGOPAUL. All my stuff is on there. You can message me too. I'll hit you back. I run a construction company in LA called Winter Remodeling Inc. If you have a home and you want to do some stuff to it, or you want to do an ADU, cash flow it, let me know. You can find me at VegalPaul too. And great group today. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And yeah, it was an awesome talk today.
You know, I thought that this was going to be, because it's only 3 of us. I was thinking like, oh, we might have some dead spots and it might be a little shit. We lost track of time. We in trouble.
Right. A whole nother hour.
We going to get a whooping in the background. Like it's
Tierra about to get us.
Tierra about to get us. We, you know, but this has been an awesome show. And listen, Keke says, I live under my means. It is almost impossible in today's time with everything that's going on with inflation, with the recession. It's almost impossible, but it's necessary. But how do we change the trajectory? We got to stop depending on one source. We got to stop depending on your job. You can only depend on you. The Bible says you should have 7 or 8 revenue streams in case of disaster strikes. What happened? Char said that in 2020, what happened? We depleted our funds because what? A disaster struck. Okay. It's getting ready to be a recession. That's a disaster for some people. 106,000 Black women are losing their jobs. It's a disaster. So what are you doing in case a disaster strikes you? Disaster struck me a couple of years ago. I lost over $1 million in my divorce. That is a disaster. But the only thing that saved me, you know what saved me? Is having multiple revenue streams. That's the only thing. You have to get in position where you're not depending on one source. You got to have multiple revenue streams. That's the reason why I'm so passionate. That's the reason why I'm a wealth activist. It's because I want to make sure that the people that I talk to, people who look like you, my Black brothers and sisters, and no disrespect to anybody else, but I am B1 first. I am Black first. And I care about my community. I care about that wealth gap shifting. I care about us not having a home ownership. I care about us not investing. But your biggest investment is going to be in yourself. Because you are your biggest commodity. You are your biggest investment. Stop just working to fulfill somebody else's dream and start working to fulfill your own. I am doing a training on Saturday. It's called the Bring Your Idea to Life. Why am I doing it? I try to have some kind of solutions when we have problems. Because the problem is we are in a disaster. A lot of us are losing our net worth. We're losing our homes. Where I live, now that all these jobs are gone, houses are going up for sale. Now, these houses in these communities have never been for sale since I've been here. $1 million homes, Black people own them. They are now for sale. They're up for sale because people were depending on one source. So get out of depending on one source and know that you can impact yourself. You can impact your life. So if you're tired of working harder but feeling stuck, I got the solution. You constantly pouring in everybody else while your dreams sit on the shelf. I can help you with that. And you have an idea that you know that could change your life, but you don't know where to start. Go to the Bring Your Idea to Life on register today. Saturday, I'm spending the day with you. I'm spending the day with you.
You write that.
I know you like to be outside. Yes, I like to be outside shaking the toes on Saturdays. Let me tell you something.
On my way.
Yes.
I'm gonna get y'all ticket. I'm gonna be there too.
Char, I'll be outside. I'll be outside. Char said the way you be outside, sis, should be studied. I be outside, but this Saturday I'm staying inside so I can help my people because that's my passion and I love y'all. So go to Bring Your Idea to Life and come and join us and let's get your idea from ideation to manifestation to monetization, baby. Yes. Yes. All right. Listen. Let me tell you. So thank you for joining us today. Keke Palmer's comments show that living frugally, it's not just a choice. It's a mindset that can help us all create long-term wealth and financial freedom. But we also need to be aware of the pressures that come with celebrity culture and how it can shape our financial goals. So remember, wealth isn't just about a flashy lifestyle. It's about sustainability, building financial security, and staying grounded in your values. So let's continue to make informed decisions, building wealth and staying true to your financial goals. Until next time, stay empowered and keep maximizing your shmoney. We will be here, not me. You gonna be here tomorrow, Venessa?
No, I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be here next week.
It's gonna be somebody else, but we're gonna be here talking about some good shit. All right. See you tomorrow.